From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hi there and welcome to Headliners. I'm Lauren Pastrana. A local woman says she's desperate after her husband was detained and arrested after showing up at a federal court hearing. She started recording what happened, and now she's sitting down with CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor with more.
Her husband came from Cuba 3 years ago. On Monday, her biggest fear became a reality. This men's attorney told me that when she saw in court individuals dressed as civilians and with their faces covered, she feared the outcome would be terrible.
Injusticia! Es esto, injusto!
While Didi Espinosa was being handcuffed by ICE agents in the hallway of federal court in Miami, his wife was yelling, quote, "This is unfair. It's not fair."
Como quiera. Mira.
Porque ellos enseguida se te tiran arriba.
As they see you come out of court, these men immediately run to detain you. Daisy Salvador told me. A U.S. citizen married to 44-year-old Espinosa, born in Cuba. The couple met 2 years ago. This month, they got married. They had to wait for his divorce to be approved. On Monday afternoon, he was detained.
This is an immigrant that he came into the United States in May of 2022. He came through the southern border to request political asylum.
Laura Jimenez is the immigration attorney who represented Espinosa in court. She says her client was one of the thousands of Cubans who received an I-220A status when entering the United States. According to federal law, they cannot apply for Cuban Adjustment Act, which allows them to become a resident quickly because their entry to the country is considered illegal.
By September of 2022, being diligent in his case, he submitted his asylum application.
She told me the prosecutor said the federal government is dismissing the case. And what does moving to dismiss a case means?
Since the asylum is filed with the immigration court, which is the one that has jurisdiction over the case at the moment, if they dismiss the case, there's no asylum.
Jimenez filed an appeal of the judge's decision. She explained to Espinosa's wife that while the case is pending, he should not be deported.
A todos los congresistas, a María Elvira Salazar, a Díaz Valar.
So Daisy Salvador said that her message is for the Cuban-American legislators. She listed María Elvira Salazar, Mario Díaz Valar, and others, telling them to comply the promises that they've made. And she ends up saying, my husband has been a law-abiding citizen who wants to live in freedom. Her husband is right now held at a detention center in Pompano Beach. We are in Southwest Miami-Dade. Yvonne Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
As the conflict between Israel and Iran continues to escalate, President Trump is now weighing in on whether or not the U.S. will get involved. Americans caught in the middle of the attacks are now facing an evacuation emergency, many of them traveling to other countries to catch flights back to the U.S. CBS News Miami's Manuel Bojorquez caught up with a South Florida woman who just got back.
That flight landed just before 7 a.m. here at Tampa International Airport. And since then, we have learned from Gray Bull Rescue, that's one of the groups coordinating these evacuation flights, that more than 4,000 people have signed up to be evacuated from Israel. The group believes that number could grow to more than 6,000 by Saturday. One woman who was here in Tampa waiting for her son to be evacuated and land here to safety described for us the process that they had to take.
And he had a 2-hour bus ride. They were down in the south, and then they drove to the port, and then they got on what was told to me as a ferry, but it turned out to be kind of a cruise ship. And they were on about, I don't know if it was 17, 20 hours to Cyprus. And they were stuck in Cyprus for like a day, not even like 8 hours maybe. And last night he texted me and said, we're taking off.
Another route they are using is crossing over land into Jordan and then flying people from there. But there are so many moving parts and logistics that right now it's difficult to tell the exact date and timing of when other flights might arrive here in the United States. Reporting from Tampa, Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Miami.
Now, CBS News Miami investigates homes once ruined by and still vulnerable to flooding face a new storm of loss. America's top emergency managers stripped $150 million worth of grants away from South Florida. CBS News Miami's Larry Seward found people who are anything but ready to adjust.
8 miles inland from Atlantic Ocean waves crashing into Sunny Isles beach crowds. Birds and iguanas sunbathe on aging, overwhelmed spillways, losing support.
I'm worried a lot because where I live in Miami. When it's rain a lot, there's a lot of flood in the street. I have concern, of course.
In April, FEMA scrapped its Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, or BRIC program. Started during the height of COVID-19 in 2020, it offered billions of dollars to lower disaster risks across the country. CBS News Miami examined data for hundreds of cities and counties. No one in Florida scored more money than the South Florida Water Management District. It planned to spend $148 million on upgrades to 3 canal basins.
The canal behind me runs from Biscayne Bay here in Miami Shores to Hialeah. It is also the main storm drain for all the communities in between. So when floodwaters rise around their roads or this golf course, that metal structure and concrete structure there in the left part of your screen is a spillway. It is crucial, controlling how fast and how much water flows downstream.
Engineers say it needs to rise several feet to handle increasing volumes of water during heavy rains. Without it, water managers' research says flooding and erosion threatens hundreds of thousands of homes.
You remember when it was hurricane and then it was raining a lot, we have to put sandbag in the front of the door, but that doesn't help.
Fernando Monsalvo lives close enough to shop at the same grocery store with Charles Smith.
Sí, me preocupa mucho de...
In Spanish, he says, yes, it worries me a lot, the investments that we lost. But FEMA insists cutting the grants best supports local disaster planning and response. Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava says her team is looking into alternatives.
Are you upset about FEMA funding for resiliency being cut for the county? $148 million.
We're monitoring closely all of the changes at the federal level and doing our very best to make sure that we can continue to do as we've done, have a very resilient economy and infrastructure, and so far so good.
FEMA says this helps planning. Does it help planning to lose money?
County leaders are hoping a quiet storm season buys them time to regroup. In Miami, Larry Seward, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, see why you may have to pay extra at the pump soon and the preparations to keep in mind. Next.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren Pastrana. It may be time to fill up your tank. Analysts are predicting gas prices may go up due to the conflict between Israel and Iran. CBS News Miami Steve Majiri shows us which pumps could become pricier as early as tomorrow.
Gage Fogel says he fills up at this Orion on North Miami Avenue in Little Haiti every 3 or 4 days.
I don't really get good gas mileage in a 2000 Mustang.
Fogel says he just moved to South Florida a month ago. He's surprised by how low the prices are. At this Orion, it's $2.79 a gallon.
The one thing I find on average down here is that they vary so much more depending on the area you're in.
Patrick DeHaan of Gas Buddies says prices may increase due to the conflict between Israel and Iran, one of the biggest oil producers in the world.
Gas prices that could go up here at a moment's notice either today or tomorrow.
AAA data found Florida gas prices are at $2.95 a gallon, the lowest average in a month. Miami-Dade County's average price is $2.94 a gallon, and Broward County's average is $2.97 a gallon. DeHaan says prices are about to go up because the market is panicking while the two countries trade missile strikes.
Whenever you see a major oil producer involved in conflict, or Russia, for example, you tend to see oil prices have this knee-jerk reaction where they jump because they don't know what's going to happen.
DeHaan says gas stations under $3 a gallon could see the biggest jump.
It's going to be the lowest price stations that are already kind of in the danger zone selling below cost.
We will fill it up with $25. But not when the gas price goes up.
Down in Cutler Bay, Marie Flor Lindor Latorche says she's already seen prices jump at her go-to gas stations.
Earlier it was $2.89, and now we have Chevron here at $2.99.
Fogel says if gas prices do go up, he'll likely have to start shopping for gas outside of Little Haiti. But it may not be as simple as the location. At that Orion gas station in Little Haiti, it's $2.79 a gallon. But at this Orion gas station here in Cutler Bay, it's $2.99 a gallon. In Cutler Bay, Steve Majiri, CBS News, Miami.
And if you're planning on staying in this summer, why not adopt a forever friend? Miami-Dade Animal Services says there are dozens of newborn kittens in need of foster families. Staff tells us if they can't find homes for the kittens, they may be forced to euthanize them. CBS News Miami's Bree Buckley takes us to the shelter and how you can get involved.
Stephen DeCita has been volunteering at the shelter for the last 7 weeks. Initially wanting to adopt or foster puppies, he ended up walking dogs and fostering a family of felines.
6 cats, 5 of whom are kittens.
Miami-Dade Animal Services is asking for more people like Stephen to foster their newborn kittens. Those are the kittens that are less than 40 days old and require extra care, feeding every 2 to 3 hours, a warmer environment, basically a replacement for their mom. And if they don't get the help, they may not make it.
If we can't find a foster family, then they have to be humanely euthanized at the end of the day, because we can't just let them starve overnight while nobody's here to take care of them.
Gabriela Dominguez with Miami-Dade Animal Services says a lot of staff have been taking them home if they can't find a foster parent. She says they see a flood of newborn kittens come in during the summer months when they're breeding, though it's part of a nationwide overpopulation crisis. She says kittens are often not abandoned and the mother is typically out looking for food.
The best chances for survival with these kittens is to stay with their mother. So truthfully, the only reason that you should bring them in is if you can confirm that the mother has passed away.
Right now, the shelter is over capacity with dogs as well, with about 550 in their care and over 100 at the Medley location, where it's a struggle to keep them cool. As Stephen encourages more people to consider fostering.
For people who may not even think they need emotional support, it's very helpful to get them through the day, maybe through some tough situations.
And you can fill out that foster application online. We'll link that in this story on our website. The bottle feeding training is the second Saturday of every month. In Doral, Bree Buckley, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, it's never too late to follow your dreams, right? See how one woman started pursuing her dreams at nearly 50 and the inspiration she hopes to give others next.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren Pastrana. In this week's All New Miami Proud, a South Florida nurse is proving it's never too late to follow your dreams. After raising children and decades of nursing, she decided to pursue her lifelong goal at age 49. CBS News Miami's Trish Christakis has her inspiring story.
At Broward Health Medical Center, trauma nurse Tracy Vose is no stranger to high-pressure situations, but her story goes beyond the hospital walls.
Serving a greater cause on both sides, both the military and civilian life. I love to help people. I want to serve people. And, you know, I'm going to keep doing that until my body says stop.
Spending many years as a single mother and spending more than a decade caring for the sick, Tracy made the decision to enlist in the U.S. Navy Reserve at the age of 49. And it wasn't easy. She faced rejection multiple times.
The age waiver, I surpassed that by several years. And the no's just really disheartened me. And I felt called to do it, so I wasn't going to give up until somebody gave me that yes.
When a yes finally came, it was an emotional one.
I mean, I cried. You know, this has been a lifelong dream for me to do it, and to be able to serve my country just like my family has was a huge honor for me.
Her husband, children, and others in her family also served. Her service took her to Africa, where she applied her trauma nursing skills. Now back home, she blends lessons learned on the battlefield with hospital care, while also inspiring others.
To see somebody who could be their mother out there, you know, going above and beyond to pursue this dream of mine, they were inspired by that.
She serves 1 weekend a month and is preparing for another deployment next year. Her story, a powerful reminder that dedication knows no age limits, and it's never too late to follow your dreams.
Just resiliency and never giving up. If you have a passion and a dream, you know, you find that yes. If somebody's telling you no, you're not talking to the right person.
In Broward County, Trish Christakis, CBS News, Miami.
And it feels like deja vu, right? But the Florida Panthers are once again Stanley Cup champions, and the city of Fort Lauderdale is working night and day to make sure everything kicks off without a hitch for this weekend's parade. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray joins us from the parade route.
Inside Blondie's on the beach, feet away from where the Panthers will parade down A1A Sunday, locals Tom Poulos and Dante Verte are still basking in that Stanley Cup victory.
I'm super excited, you know. I work at a restaurant downtown, and they're supposed to be coming in the restaurant as well, so it should be nice.
All my friends love hockey, and so, you know, it's really fun. It's a great time to be a Florida Panthers fan, and it's a great time to be a Floridian right now.
Barriers are up along the sidewalk. The stage is set for the pep rally. The parade will begin high noon Sunday. As you see in the map, it will start at Rio Mar Street below Sunrise and go down to Southeast 5th.
I got no umbrella, I got no poncho, no problem.
Unlike the rain and thunderstorms of last year's big parade, it's going to be blazing hot, so have water at hand.
So please, please be prepared, dress lightly, bring your swimsuit, enjoy our beautiful ocean, and take the time to cool down in the shade whenever you possibly can.
And do not drive. Traffic will be a nightmare. There will be lots of police in uniform and plain clothes.
Increased surveillance, and certainly you will see marked visible presence. And we are also very lucky this year, the Florida Guard has offered to come in and assist us with traffic control and crowd control as well.
Over 200,000 people will be cheering on the players, embracing fans who are now deeply devoted to their hometown team.
We've been really killing it in the past 2 years. You know, I think that, you know, it's our turn this time.
And we cannot stress enough, do not try to drive here. Take a ride share, ride a bike, take a water taxi. Police Chief Bill Schultz told me that last year, because of all the rain, hundreds of tickets were sold for the water taxi and people never showed up. Going to be completely different this year. Lots of sunshine, big crowd, so just be ready. On Fort Lauderdale Beach, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
And thanks for joining us this half hour on Headliners. As always, keep it right here to CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Make it a great one.